IVM.
Hey everybody, welcome to another week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you are not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money. As we head into week 4 of lockdown, we're doing our best to make sure that we maintain our schedules and try and get you as many of the podcasts that you're used to listening as we possibly can, but beg your indulgence if there are any slippages in schedules and times. With that, let's just get on with your show.
Special episode of Back to the Franchise by Geek Fruit. I'm Tejas, and with me today on Back to the Franchise, as he mostly always is Dinkar. Hi, Dinkar.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dinkar by Geek Fruit.
Yes. Powered by Geek Fruit.
Powered by Geek Fruit, indeed. It is powering me.
It is powering us through this period of time. And because of the nature of things that are happening, which is the lack of releases that are happening, say on in the theaters and a little less on television. I mean, television is still having the ability of being directly at in people's homes and on their phones and stuff like that. So lots of new television things are still coming out. Stuff that has already been shot and produced and just was waiting to drop. So a lot of that has been coming out. Have you been keeping up with any of those things?
Of the fresh television coming out?
Indeed, yes.
No, I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, as I do. I watched the newest season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, which wrapped up like a week or two ago. I was just watching the Saturday Night Live Zoom call version that they did.
Very good, yes.
I don't think I've watched something that's dropped, like that has only dropped after the crisis hit, like your Tiger King and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm yet to see Tiger King, though I feel like I know exactly what it's about.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm not going to like it.
Exactly.
It's not
I don't know. Is it supposed to be one of those conspiracy kind of thrillers, like what's the one where about the guy? Man, I can't remember.
I know the one you're talking about. Robert, what's his name?
Like one of these true crime kind of things, like a serial.
Yeah, I think it's like a true crime thing that's where the crime isn't really there. You know what I mean? Like, you remember that guy? Oh man, I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember the show that we're thinking of. The guy who basically went to jail when he was really young and for killing somebody.
Oh, right. Isn't that Making a Murderer? Or
Making a Murderer? Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Very serial.
That was good. Yeah, love that. That was amazing. As a show, not as an experience for the person.
There was that other show on HBO, which had like a one-word title that I can't remember. That was about this like super weirdo who like possibly murdered his wife or something, and they caught
the People versus O.J. Simpson.
No, I said possibly murdered his wife, not definitely murdered his wife and got away with it. But yeah, he confessed to committing the murder like in the bathroom because his lav mic was still on or something like that. This feels like one of those.
Man. Okay, nice. No, so I haven't seen Tiger King yet. I might. I don't know yet, but there's still some new things. Having said that, not a lot of movies happening in the theaters. Obviously, a lot of them have been pushed. Which is why we felt...
Sorry, I just, since we're doing this from the comfort of our homes and with our systems in front of us, I quickly Googled the show I was talking about. It was called The Jinx, and the guy was called Robert Durst.
Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Any relation to Fred Durst?
Well, I suppose his career was also jinxed.
Was he a sturdy? Okay, fine.
Fred Durst is a possibly trying to be artsy director.
What are you saying? What is he making?
He's made like 2 movies, dude, or 3 movies, I think. And the first one was apparently not bad, and the second one was apparently terrible, but they were both like serious films.
So he's going on a downward...
yeah, he's not doing it all for the nookie.
Okay,
also, his Instagram is just pictures of old cars.
Sounds like a Fred Durst thing. Actually, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Old cars are fine. New cars, kind of douchey.
I mean,
but anyway.
Fred Durst, pretty douchey. So.
All right, cool. That's so. What I was trying to say was that in keeping up with all of these TV shows and movies that aren't really coming out and constantly kind of talking about the news, we decided it was pertinent to do another edition of Back to the Franchise.
Yes.
We take a journey through real time. Oh, in real time? I don't know.
Through real time to find a different real time.
Boom.
We need a better slogan.
Yeah,
until then we'll
I
have
like
to
the
stick
slogan.
with buy Geek Fruit.
I like the slogan. We have to workshop it a bit. But today we decided to go and look at a film which I feel is still, which is relevant now because there is a new version of this film coming out. We're talking about the very, very popular video game adaptation, 1997's Mortal Kombat.
1997. Wow. That was a long time ago.
It really was. Ago. And it shows.
Yeah.
It really shows. Man, I watched this movie like literally maybe an hour before we did this, we're doing this recording.
Yeah, I was skipping it as well.
It's hella fresh in my memes.
Yeah.
And I have made
memes, the movie itself, not hella fresh.
Yeah. Having said that, I'm gonna drop some. I'm maybe gonna drop a truth, not a truth bomb. Sorry, a hot take so hot, you're gonna die. And maybe over the course of this episode, I'm gonna try and prove what I was trying to say.
Give it to me.
All right, here's my hot take. Mortal Kombat was almost The Matrix.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'll explain it as we go along.
Yeah. Let me give you a hot take. Okay.
Give us a hot take.
Try to prove our point over the course of this episode. Mortal Kombat might be the best video game adaptation we've had so far.
Love it. I like the hot take. It's still pretty hot because we have had some competitors for that title in the last couple of years, and we shall see if they if this movie has stood.
To be fair, I'm measuring against a very low bar, but
it is a low bar, which is why it's possible.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's talk about Mortal Kombat. This movie is pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
But it's one of those things. Objective standards. But we talk about this a lot. We love bad movies, and really, what is a bad movie? Why are good movies good? Why are bad movies bad? Nobody really knows. It's all subjective. Everybody just makes up their own rules and says, objectively, this is bad. But what if what I'm looking for is real terrible dialogue and just pure entertainment? Then in my perspective,
this movie is a smash hit.
But this movie is a masterpiece as far as, as soon as the protocol is set, you're going in. The expectations are matched.
Yeah.
For something that is pure entertainment in a very bad way. I mean, the same way that we love movies like The Room or, basically any kind of like DC movie right now.
Sure.
Like a Batman versus Superman. I saw it again recently. Oh my God, it gets worse every time you watch it.
Yeah.
But why are we still watching it? That's the question we're here.
I feel like there's different kinds of bad movies, and Batman v Superman is a very different kind of bad in that there was potential that was squandered.
Yeah, I think that's
one. Bad it's a very product of its time sense, and
absolutely.
Even in its time, it was a bad movie.
I have a feeling that if Paul W.S. Anderson made it today, it would still be the same. Because that's the kind of guy that he is.
Well, that's Paul W.S. Anderson, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's no Paul Thomas Anderson. So.
Yeah, he's no PTA. He's a PWSA. That's exactly what he is. Having said that, this movie has merits and demerits that we should go through. I wanna set it up, and obviously nobody can see this, but I made. Because the Mortal Kombat is basically a tournament.
Yes.
And so I started thinking for the first time in my life, what kind of tournament format is this? Now, because I've been watching a lot of football over the last year and a half or so, I'm very eager to know what exactly is the format of this tournament. Is it knockout? Is it league?
It is a knockout.
I've decided, well, that's what I thought, but I've made a league... or a tournament table here to try and see what exactly was the format. And I'm sorry to say, there is no fucking rule to this at all.
It's basically whatever they decide on the spot.
It does actually become that at one point when Shang Tsung says, cool, I'm going to fight Sonya. And she's like, no, I don't want to
fight.
For no
reason, yeah.
For no reason at all.
He made a deal with Johnny Cage where he was like, okay, you fight Goro and I'll do whatever I want.
So this tournament basically has no fucking rules at all, dude.
Yeah. Apparently the only rule they care about is that the winner gets to take over the world or whatever.
Well, so the rule, the format that they set up to these new characters who I guess the audience perspective is, sitting, in. So they basically say this tournament has been going on for like millions of years, and the Earth realm, which is where we have kind of like entered. So basically we got promoted. We were relegated before. Now we got promoted in this big league.
Yeah.
And we've been competing, and we have lost the last 9. And if you win 10, you get to take over the realm that you defeated. So we've lost 9. We've come in at the point where we're like, oh, cool, we have to win this one, or where Earth is going to turn into a shit show.
Classic sports movie format.
Correct. It is a feel-good sports movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a few things I want to talk about for the setup of the characters. Yeah. Let's set up the Earth heroes. Liu Kang. Okay. The amazing haircut, just really, really great. My favorite intro to this, to pretty much any movie, is that he has a dream. This movie starts with a dream sequence about how Shang Tsung, the primary villain, is basically killed his brother and says, "You're next, bro." And he wakes up from a dream and he's like, "Oh my god!" And then he goes and looks at a Western Union telegraph, which says the following: "Liu Kang, brother dead, return home. Your grandfather."
My God.
Which is the coldest shit I've ever read. Even for a telegraph, there's no stop and all. This is not an actual telegraph. It's a Western Union ticket. So it's just basically a grandfather with no who's gone like, brother dead, return home.
Such poor. I mean, this was obviously product placement for Western Union, but what poor product placement? Like, hey, want to tell people about your dead relatives concisely? Western Union.
Pretty much.
The grandfather was way ahead of his time. Like today he'd be texting like bro and then like that emoji with the X's for eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And Liu Kang would be the new phone who this. But anyway, Sonya Blade, who's just referred to as Sonya in this movie, has her setup, which is that her partner has been killed by Kano, one of the characters from the game, who has an Australian accent in this, which is interesting.
Yeah, for some reason.
And yeah. Sure, and he's alright. And the third is Johnny Cage, who has the worst setup for a character I have ever seen. This is the worst thing. Okay, so check it out. Johnny Cage is a movie star, but he's also one of the world's greatest martial artists. Okay,
he's a white Jackie Chan.
He's a white Jackie Chan, and his biggest problem with the world right now, which is why he seeks to prove himself, is that everybody thinks that he's fake.
He's an actor.
He's an actor, and he goes to Thailand or whatever to take this, boat. To Hong Kong to take this boat, and he reads the newspapers there, and the fucking headline in that country also is, Johnny Cage, da 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 in like whatever Chinese, in Cantonese, and in English it says fake. Why is this the headline in Hong Kong? Who knows?
No other concerns in Hong Kong, apparently.
It's the headline. It's the front page news. Fake. Jeez. And why is he so of course he's a f***ing actor.
Yes, it's fake. There are cameras there, guys.
Exactly. Oh my. Is he actually hitting all these guys when he's shooting? That sucks, dude. Oh my god.
For everyone else, yeah.
Anyway, so that's the worst kind of setup I've ever seen. Johnny Cage is an actor. So that these three guys, and they meet Raiden, played by none other than Highlander himself, Christopher Lambert.
Was it the only? Everyone else from this movie.
He's a no-name.
Yeah.
But Christopher Lambert, he was the most expensive actor they cast for this film.
Yeah.
And apparently he was a really cool guy, because I was reading the trivia for this film, and they only could afford to use him for the close-ups, which were going to be shot in America.
Right.
But all the Thailand scenes where they had to fight after the tournament starts, they could only take wide-angle shots using a stand-in. But Christopher Lambert was just like, yo, I need to shoot this stuff myself. I'll come at no extra cost. I'll come and fly down with you guys because I'm Christopher Lambert. I want to go to Thailand.
Sweet.
And I'll shoot. And then he also threw the wrap party for the entire cast, which he paid for himself. He was basically the god of thunder in this film as well. And like he was like RDJ.
The god of lightning. Is this true? He can do the lights.
Yeah,
he can do the sounds.
He's lightning. Yes, you're right. He's lightning. God of Thunder is Thor.
Yeah.
All right. So
when you think about it, Thor really shouldn't have lightning shooting out of his hammer. He's the god of thunder. It should just make like a big sound.
Yeah, and a sound that is delayed by about like 5 seconds. So every time he hits the hammer, it should be like complete silence. It would be so funny. Oh my god! One of the best scenes in this movie is when Liu Kang finally comes back to his grandfather who texted him basically, and he goes and Raiden shows up and he doesn't believe that Raiden is the god of anything. He says, "Why are you taking instructions to this beggar, y'all?"
Yeah.
And and his grandfather immediately goes to Raiden and says, "I'm so sorry." And these are the exact lines. It's like, he doesn't. American life has enfeebled his mind. Too much television.
Enfeebled.
Enfeebled.
My God.
What an amazing word.
So grandfather is really eloquent when talking to a god. But when he talks to Liu Kang, he's like, I'm going to dumb this down. Liu, my grandson, his mind is so enfeebled. I don't think he'll understand anything other than brother dead.
Yeah, I think Western Union operating on Twitter like character rules. Like, So he meets Raiden, and then they all basically head off for the tournament, in which they kind of compete in no particular order. At least in the video game, right? In the video game, it's basically you have to climb. It's a ladder system. So you defeat one guy, you keep kind of climbing, and then it's all individual. You don't. Yeah. It's not a tournament exactly because you don't. And also, if it's a tournament, are some characters seeded? Are they unseeded? Who knows? I have no idea.
Everyone on the villain side is seeded, right? Like when you play the Mortal Kombat games, or when you play the classic Mortal Kombat games, you remember those stone pillars? Where
exactly.
Each person
and you just
a thing.
Yeah. And there's that theme also which goes dang 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 dang, and then you kind of basically go up. So I'm gonna go through. So he meets one more character, kind of, who he has the hots for, which is 90s Gal Gadot. It's Kitana, Princess Kitana, who's essentially the Gamora of Mortal Kombat.
Yes,
she is the adopted daughter of Shao Kahn, who only makes an appearance in the film. But so she kind of has the hots for Liu Kang, I guess, which is weird because she's like 10,000 years old.
Yeah,
and he's like kind of like 24. Yeah. Also, Liu Kang, Robin Xiao, he's the best actor in this film. Everybody else, very bad.
Probably.
Yeah. Very, very bad.
Johnny Cage is particularly bad, but I wonder if he was just hamming it on purpose or he's just that bad.
I mean, like, is he bad because he's a Hollywood actor bad kind of like vibe, or is he?
That's the vibe I got. Like when I was watching clips back, I was like, they can't be serious with this stuff, right?
Oh my God. So tell me this. If you are portraying an actor in a film, do you necessarily have to play it bad to show that you're an actor?
Probably. Well, to show that you're a bad actor. Yeah, probably. But I feel like here they were going for he's a super cheesy actor movie star.
Yeah, like an action star
type vibe, yeah.
Cool. So yeah, man, Mortal Kombat happens, and they start fighting everybody. And as you know, I made a table, and actually, you know what? We'll get to this table. Let's just take a quick break.
Yeah.
And we will come back and talk about the structure of this knockout tournament, and then get to the round robin.
Cool.
How many times have you motivated yourself to improve your sleep, or lose weight, or be more productive? How many times have you failed? Hi, my name is Ashton Doctor. Tune into my show, The Habit Coach Podcast, where we focus on creating small, tiny habits to improve your life instead of those big, impossible tasks. So make listening to me a habit every Monday, Wednesday and Friday on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com or on your favorite podcasting app.
Hey guys, we're back to the franchise. We're talking about Mortal Kombat. It's Dinkar and Tejas. And we're talking about the tournament that these guys are on right now. So
we're not in combat.
We're not in combat. Did you ever play the game, by the way?
Yeah, of course.
You played the original ones, and but not played the new guys.
I haven't played the new guys. I forget which the last one I played was, but I do know I spent the most time playing MK4.
MK4, oh my god!
Because MK4 was the best one for
it was
the
the first
time.
3D kind of Mortal Kombat. Right?
Exactly.
Otherwise, it was like this 2D plane, and then it suddenly became like it had depth.
Yeah.
Suddenly, yeah.
Where like the camera would whip pan for the fatalities and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Shit. So this movie has very few cool fatalities. They're quite lame, to be honest.
Do you think that's because of the rating? They probably had to keep it fairly gentle.
PG-13. I was watching a behind-the-scenes thing.
Right.
And they were just like, they originally wanted it to be an R-rated kind of film, like the game. But then they were like, we're going to skew the audience. And it was a good decision because this movie went to #1 for 3 weeks. And let's just talk about the success of this film despite its flaws. Okay. Yeah. Now, I was saying that this movie could have been The Matrix. Here's why. Okay. The makers of this film, like the producers and everything, they desperately wanted to have an electronic soundtrack, like an EDM soundtrack.
Okay.
But all the labels that they pitched the movie to be on board, which is including Sony and Universal, said no. We need to have like a 90s, like a proper 90s pop track, which would have like bands like Van Halen and Janet Jackson on the soundtrack. Right. And the filmmakers were like, no go. We really want an electronica kind of like a proper EDM, 90s Euro, kind of thing. And no label would take them on for it. So they finally found a really small label called T80 Records or something like that.
T80.
And T80, yeah.
Right.
And they said, will you construct this, will you do the supervision and kind of make this soundtrack? And they did it, and they were really small. And this album went platinum. It was their first platinum album ever. And obviously, because the soundtrack is a fucking smash.
Yeah, that theme.
It is dude. It's not just that, man. It's like this soundtrack for every fight is what makes the fights.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
Like every scene that has like a bitchin' tune on it is just a hit.
And it's that classic 90s Euro dance music.
It is, and you know what? It really does feel like just 2 steps away from what the Matrix soundtrack was. Like, the Matrix soundtrack is full of like these, like, Rob Dugan and, what are the other guys? Basically like this very like electronic kind of, Moby kind of soundtrack. And I feel like this is just like a breath away from that. Like, it's still a little cheese, but like some really good cheese.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I would say the difference between this soundtrack and the Matrix soundtrack is the cheese factor. Do you remember Crazy Frog?
Yeah.
Was that not basically a ripoff of the Mortal Kombat soundtrack? Or was the Mortal Kombat soundtrack the first ripoff?
No. I think Crazy Frog theme, what is it? It's that, what's it just singing? It's that Axel F whatever thing, right? What is it?
Is it like that?
But that's already a song, right?
Yeah, what song was that? Whatever, unimportant. More importantly, Crazy Frog should have entered Mortal Kombat and been murdered brutally.
Yeah.
Because that guy sucks.
Having said that, the main theme is kick-ass. Yeah. But there's like this album has a bunch of bops. There's one song which happens right at the end when after, spoilers, he defeats Shang Tsung because like Neo, he is the chosen one.
Yes.
Right? Okay. There's this track called Halcyon On and On by an artist called Orbital. Check that out. That song fucking smash.
Halcyon so On and On.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you.
I don't even think that's
WhatsApp
a real sentence
right now. No, I think it's supposed to be a take on the word like halcyon and on and on.
Right.
But yeah, so that's the name of the track. But man, such a good song, dude. It reminded me a lot of like it's like a kind of like an Enigma-esque track.
Right.
Yeah, check it out because it's really really good. So that's one thing. The soundtrack really really good.
Mm-hmm.
The fight sequences. What do you think of the fights in this movie?
Not bad actually. Not great.
Bad.
Not spectacular. But they're not like you can see that they're not trying to compensate for not having great fight sequences. They're keeping them fairly straightforward. There's some interesting moments of choreography in there.
Yeah. So what I felt was really, really interesting is that I think this may be one of the earliest versions of adapting that, proper Hong Kong, martial arts style into a big Hollywood film.
Tried.
Yeah. Not counting the Bruce Lee stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But basically giving, even Bruce Lee films like Enter the Dragon and stuff was still like, those were still very much in that era, that 70s, kind of era of action. So it's kind of got that pulpy vibe to it. This was the first time they tried to take that and put in that very 90s Hollywood treatment. And I think, and you know what, that's again something that feels like a precursor to what The Matrix was. Yeah, The Matrix is taking the ultimate Hollywood kind of approach, which is, let's do science fiction and like put like amazing kung fu in it. And I think that's why it felt like also very reminiscent of it. I mean, obviously the movies are miles apart, but there was a potential to do it. And then of course they added like VFX in The Matrix, which is what another kind of...
That was a game changer.
Yeah.
I wonder
exactly.
if my reasoning for saying it's the best video game movie of all time yet... it's probably very similar to your thesis that it's The Matrix. Like the reason it's not The Matrix, I think, is the reason it's the best video game movie.
Yeah, true.
Right? Which is that,
nice. I like that.
My thesis of why it stands as, well, not, okay, objectively speaking, bad movie, but it's possibly the best adaptation because it doesn't try to overreach. You know what I mean? They were like, okay, we have this game, there's a bunch of fights, how can we make that happen? And they do it. There's
some dumb shit in this movie. Yeah, there's some really, really dumb shit. It's Liu Kang says this at the top of the film, where he says, "Yo, this tournament is bullshit. Like, obviously, it doesn't exist. Firstly, and secondly, men fighting a simple contest does not decide the fate of the world.
Yeah,
it's basically guys punching guys save the earth.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, on a very contextual level, on a conceptual level." It's dumb, right? Mortal Kombat is just a video game.
And it kind of acknowledges that, right? Where it's just
exactly.
We're doing some dumb shit. And that's why I think it does okay, because it doesn't try to overreach and go like, no, this is a serious movie where we're talking about like this mythological millennia.
Yeah, I feel like they have kind of, leaned in that direction in the video games where you can allow, suspension of disbelief, whatever, and like kind of go to that whole fantasy mythology thing. Because there are some really, really, if we watch the Mortal Kombat, the short YouTube series that came out with Michael Jai White as, Jax, and, had this whole thing about Scorpion. Scorpion's story is also quite tragic, and if you kind of follow that, which they're going to do in this animated movie that I think the DC guys have been putting together. It's supposed to drop sometime now, but I don't know if it will be affected. I don't think it should be affected because it was anyway supposed to be just a straight to Blu-ray kind of situation. So in that, they're going to be following the Scorpion storyline, which is actually quite nice, and it has emotional beats.
Yeah.
But this movie obviously doesn't have to follow that. Like, let me put it. This is the extent of emotional kind of weight in this movie. At the end, Kitana tells Liu Kang that you have to face Shang Tsung and you have to face 3 challenges. One is you have to face your enemy. Second, you have to face yourself. And the third is you have to face your fears.
Yeah.
Okay, which is about as vague as it can get. And this is how he then goes on to defeat all 3 things. So when he says, she's just there watching him, right? And she's just like, and she utters under her breath, she's like, face your enemy. Yeah. And what is face your enemy? Shang Tsung brings up a bunch of dead guys and he defeats them. Yeah. Okay. Then she says, face yourself.
She announces the segment before it starts. It's like a listicle.
It's really a listicle. You won't believe how Liu Kang defeats Shang Tsung. Anyway, so And when she says, face yourself, Shang Tsung kind of disappears and goes on top of this little staircase, and he looks down upon him and says, you will never defeat me. And Liu Kang says, Liu Kang just basically says, no, I am the chosen one. I am going to defeat you. And then Kitana just says, okay, it's time to face your fears. So basically, he just announces something and he's faced himself.
Yeah.
So that's basically not even a physical battle. And then finally, when he has to face his fears, Shang Tsung finally uses his best talent, which is morph into different people.
Which he hasn't up till that point.
Well, he does to convince Johnny Cage to basically enter the tournament to begin with.
Yeah. But you don't know it at the time.
Yeah, you do. I mean, no, you do, like, yeah, but he doesn't, like, do anything special with that case.
Yeah.
Finally, he turns into Chan, Liu Kang's younger brother, who obviously is the reason for why this whole thing has started.
Brother dead, yes.
Yeah, and we have no context as to why. The whole movie doesn't tell us about why Shang Tsung even killed his brother to begin with. It's just like I was a kid, like, he obviously tried to take part in Mortal Kombat. Yeah. But yeah, Chan Kang, which is not the best name ever. No. So Chan Kang takes on the form of Chan Kang, and then obviously Liu Kang is just like, yo, you're not my brother. And then they have a fight sequence, and Liu Kang uses a fireball and basically bashes him.
Bashes him hard.
Yeah, bashes him hard, and then he kind of like falls into like a spiky,
again, like a classic
environmental death.
Like there are many video games in this movie's video game structure where they're like, okay, Liu Kang, you have 3 levels to beat.
Yeah, pretty much, right? See, this is the structure, okay? Yeah, this is how Liu Kang makes it to the top.
Give it us.
Liu Kang defeats Dread's guy. I'm just calling him Dread's guy because he doesn't have a name.
Never has a name.
Then
soul is taken.
Yeah. His soul is taken. Then Liu Kang fights Kitana, who obviously kind of forfeits basically because she's trying to help him.
Yeah.
So Liu Kang wins
also,
there.
She's old.
Also, she's old. She's just like, yeah, I'm just doing this because, whatever. I want my realm back. Then Liu Kang beats... Sub-Zero beats this foot soldier while they're having dinner, which is kind of stupid.
Oh, right. Yes.
So Sub-Zero then faces Liu Kang.
Sub-Zero fight where he kind of like basically shatters the dude and his head like rolls around.
Exactly, yeah. Which is not the most pleasant dinner theater ever. Yeah. Then Liu Kang fights Sub-Zero, and then he uses... And this whole movie, right, everybody who's old, basically Raiden and Kitana and Shang Tsung, only talk in f***ing axioms. We can't just give them clear instructions, okay, saying like, you must free your mind, you must do this, you must... Just say, yo, he's going to turn into like your younger brother. Just like, watch out for that shit. Doesn't do any of that.
Raiden never comes out and goes like, yo, ice guy, watch out.
Dude, Raiden is the weirdest guy, and he's the quirkiest fool. Like, every time he gives them life instructions, like, basically, the fate of the universe. Also, he has the most epic voice ever. Yeah. The fate of the universe lies in your hands. And then he goes like, sorry.
Yeah, why does he keep apologizing after he does his laugh?
He's so weird.
Like, sorry. Like,
bad. I think he basically
maybe,
has...
Grub character and Christopher Lambert's just like, sorry, this is some dumb shit.
I have a theory for it. He's senile. He's basically gone through this 10 times or like a million times before this. He's just like, okay, this is what's going to happen. That's it. That's basically his whole...
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, Kitana basically tells him all this stuff. But yeah, everyone talks in like axioms and metaphors instead of just going straight up and just like...
I think because there's nothing to go into. The people who wrote this movie...
Yeah, there's no... If they told them what is going to happen, then there's no script, man.
Yeah, so the guys who wrote this movie, the guys who made this movie, it's not... I think they basically are cloaking something that isn't there and they know it. Like, it's not one of those movies where you're like, oh my God, there must be some like insanely tragic backstory that someday we'll find out. Like the brother dying or whatever. Here they're just like, yeah, brother dead. It's unimportant.
That really just basically sets up what the movie is. Brother dead, got a fight tournament. Liu Kang beats Sub-Zero because Kitana says you must beat him using the element of life, which is water. She could have just said throw water on Sub-Zero because he'll freeze it and it'll impale him.
Also, why is it the element of life?
Why is water the element of life? I get it.
Anything?
That's like kind of like the element of breathing.
Breathing is life.
But water is also kind of like...
Breathing is life, man.
Breathing is life.
Breathing is bay.
It's bay. chlorophyll.
Yeah.
Reacting to the two things. Sunlight is also life. I don't know.
Wait, what? These are the 5 classical elements, right? Like the Captain Planet elements.
Not counting heart.
Not counting heart. So yeah,
Which
cool.
is
Go on.
pretty much
What
an
happens
element
next
in
in
this
the
movie.
tournament?
So Liu Kang beats Sub-Zero. Then Liu Kang. Okay, this is where it gets haywire. Okay. Meanwhile, Johnny Cage beats Scorpion in his first round.
Yeah.
Then he moves on from there, and he beats.
Tell me something. The thing that Scorpion shoots out, that sticks out its tongue in all.
Scorpion.
Yeah. That's not what a scorpion head looks like, right?
No, not at all. But it's supposed to have like a scaly kind of. It's supposed to be the scorpion's tail, I think.
The tail is sentient now.
Yeah, that's essentially it.
Cool. Okay, go on. He beats Scorpion.
So he beats Scorpion, and these are the first rounds of everyone. Liu Kang beats Dred's guy. Sonya beats Kano and kills Kano.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
basically.
She's a cop.
She's a cop, yeah, but I guess she's just like,
no
rules here. And Johnny Cage beats Scorpion, and then Liu Kang beats Kitana in his second round, which is what I'm assuming is his second round.
Mm-hmm.
Then he has a third round against Sub-Zero. Now here's where it gets weird. Sonya doesn't have a second round.
Right.
Johnny Cage doesn't have a second round either. Instead, he goes to Shang Tsung and says, I'll fight Goro.
For no reason. He just wants to do it.
But basically he's facing his fears or whatever.
And if I remember correctly, he has this like chat with Sonya where he's like, I'm going to fight Goro. And she's like, why? And he's like, to protect you. And she's not in danger from Goro any more than she's in danger from anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. And she can, what this movie has proven is that she is a chosen fighter for this tournament. She can clearly hold her own. Yeah. Anyway, he wants to be this hero because that's exactly what Raiden tells him not to do, but he does it.
There's also that epic line where Sonya tells him, like, you're the most egotistical, jerkish asshole I've ever met. And he's like, you forgot good looking.
Not untrue. He's quite good looking.
Yes, yeah.
In a very white guy kind of way.
He's that classic
90s man.
Yeah.
So he challenges Goro. Mm-hmm. Sonya basically doesn't have any more fights in this tournament.
Yeah. She's just like, she's retired.
She gets it, yeah.
You think stupid. She killed her first guy and they were just like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, way too much.
Idea
So Liu Kang, then, so Johnny Cage beats Goro. He fights Goro.
By the way, quick aside, Goro, what do you think? That's CGI?
No, it's animatronics.
Animatronics, right.
Yeah, and apparently it was so glitchy and it kept breaking down that they had to, they couldn't take it to Thailand. So instead, they just shot it at a soundstage in the US and
keyed it in.
And they had the machine in the US. So they were just they built a soundstage there to shoot him there. And apparently, the entire set was supposed to have a lot of water and stuff like that. But then they were like, yo, no water around this thing. And then and then they just removed it and just made it like a mountainy kind of Mad Max.
From the clips I was watching, of course, it's animatronics. Now that I think about it, it looks very physical model-like. But you can see that there's motion to it and they want to show you that there's motion to it. So a lot of the times when Goro is talking, all his 4 arms are just like flailing.
Yeah,
look at me talking.
Yeah, pretty much. Goro's not poorly done though. I think it was quite well.
It's okay, yeah.
Yeah, for the time. Some of the VFX, I swear, Dinkar, if we had the budget to shoot this in the locations they had, all the VFX could be done on our machines.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. Just very, very bad.
The simplest effects possible.
Yeah, it's like the preset stuff, the template stuff. Like a ripple water effect for teleportation.
Do you think, I mean, of course, that technology didn't exist for them back then. So they were trying new stuff. But do you think the people who created like Adobe presets looked at Mortal Kombat and went like, cool, I guess we'll make a lightning one?
Oh my god, yeah. That's basically what happens. And then Johnny Cage stops. Then Shang Tsung says, because of that deal he makes with him, says, I'm going to fight Sonya. And then he says no. Then he's like, fine, I'll fight Johnny. Then he's like, no, you'll fight me. Liu Kang says.
What is that? How is that
This is not a tournament. This is the most arbitrary tournament I've ever
seen. His deal with Johnny Cage was, okay, if you beat Goro, I'll fight you. Or I'll fight someone else. And I'm like, okay, you could already do that.
He needed his lawyer to look through that contract, I swear. Yeah, so he fights Shang Tsung and he beats him, and they all get back home, and it's all dandy.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Now, was Mortal Kombat 1 the one that ends with that epic last scene where the three of them are in formation? Yeah, correct?
All of them. Sonya, Johnny.
So they get in a fighting stance and the theme song starts and you're like, fist bump. That was amazing.
Yeah, and then literally the first scene of Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which we don't speak of, but we really should at some point.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Should I spoil it? It's in the first scene of Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Johnny Cage's head gets snapped and he dies.
Immediately. Because the actor didn't come back, I assume?
Meanwhile, neither did the actors for Sonya or, Raiden. So they're both recast. Poorly, I might add.
Yes. Oh, what a bad movie. See, Mortal Kombat 2 is an example of Mortal Kombat gone horribly wrong. Like, this is understandable bad and enjoyable bad, I would say, in some context. Like, when we watched it as kids, we thought it was a cool movie. That's a given.
A classic.
Yeah, absolutely a classic. And it's not one of those movies we saw that when we were kids that we still like a Batman Forever. Like, with this, I can go like, it's not a good movie.
Yeah, I won't watch this again for some time.
It's a cool movie. It's a bunch of fighty things.
And it's definitely worth a watch right now since James Wan has, I think, finished, he's wrapped shooting on the new Mortal Kombat live action film, which will, I don't know when it's going to come out, but could be interesting. So I think we should wrap this episode, but before we do that, fan cast this Mortal Kombat movie with a current contemporary cast right now.
Okay, are they the age they are right now? Because right away, I really want Johnny Cage to be Keanu.
Oh, nice! I would say Johnny Cage could be like a Chris Pratt right now.
Yeah. Okay, very Chris Pratt. I will agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it could be a cool Chris Pratt. What about Liu Kang? What about actually? You know what? Simu Liu. Not just because they share a name. Robin Shu's character in the original Mortal Kombat kind of has like some comedic moments, like very few. They could have expanded on that. But Simu Liu, the guy who's playing Shang-Chi, seems like he could have been a good choice for this era's, what do you call it, Liu Kang.
Liu Kang, yeah. True. For Sonya Blade, who's the lady who plays the new Tomb Raider? Her name is
Alicia Vikander.
Should be cool.
She would be cool, yeah. I mean, this movie, apparently Cameron Diaz was supposed to play her.
Really?
Yeah, but she broke her wrist in like training, and so they just got her and this girl, Bridget, I can't remember, Wallace. She has a very Drew Barrymore-ish vibe to her.
Kinda.
She kind of looks like her. Yeah.
Again, it's probably the role. Like, she only talks in like "I'm an angry lady" kind of lines. So.
But I get it because her partner's been, killed, and she wants to.
Yeah. Partner was murdered.
I'll follow you to the ends of the earth, literally. So yeah, Alicia Vikander is pretty good. And what about Raiden? And Shang Tsung.
Okay, hear me out on this because this would be amazing. Raiden, Alec Baldwin.
Oh my god, I will die.
Like
straight up die.
I don't give a shit, Alec Baldwin with long hair.
Amazing.
Like, ha, sorry.
Amazing, love it. Sold. Yeah. And Shang Tsung?
Shang Tsung, that's interesting. Should be an Asian American older actor, correct?
Yeah.
Oh my god. What if it was like a Ken Jeong again doing like this total like, you know what? I'm gonna let you fight him and then I'll fight you. Or I'll fight someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very Ken Jeong kind of thing. Even a Randall Park could be great.
But Randall Park is the age where he could even play like a Liu Kang, really. Right?
No, he's like in his 40s. You need a young Liu Kang.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I think I oh my god, yeah, definitely. Alec Baldwin could be hilarious as this. Yeah, cool. That checks out. And Gal Gadot as Kitana.
Oh, of course, as Kitana. That's a given. Nice, interesting.
Or even what was her name? Naomi.
Klein.
No, not
The Power Rangers.
Charlie's Angels. Yeah, Power Rangers.
Aladdin girl, Naomi Scott.
She could be cool.
Yeah. Tell me, who's in this James Wan movie?
I don't know. I think they're using like all fresh actors and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. We'll have to check about that. But seems interesting that they're going from scratch. I always like that.
I am looking at the cast. Oh my god! I cannot believe we forgot him. And this is great casting. Louis Stan.
Oh my god! Love Louis Stan.
Of course, and he's a genuine badass.
He's a martial artist extraordinaire.
Yeah, of course he's in this movie. How could he not be? I'll tell you the cast. I don't know any of these people too well, but Jessica McNamee is Sonya Blade. Mehcad Brooks is Jax. Ludi Lin is...
Oh, Mehcad Brooks! Isn't he this guy?
Who is that?
Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's why he's familiar. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that guy's cool.
We got a Hot Jax. Louis Stan is... A guy called Ludi Lin is playing Liu Kang, so I wonder who Louis Stan is playing.
He might be playing like a Shang Tsung or maybe a Quan Chi. Some, as long as he's playing any cool character, I'm fine with it. That guy's awesome.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, cool. So sounds good. James Wan is a good director.
Mm-hmm.
He did Aquaman. He's done the Conjuring films, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he did the Saws, didn't he? Maybe even the Conjurings. He did the first Saw for sure. Okay, I'm also looking at the detailed cast list. It's interesting. Everyone has been named except for Louis Stan. So Shang Tsung is Jin Han, an actor I don't know. Raiden is Tadanobu Asano. Louis Stan, no character name given. So maybe he's playing a new character.
Maybe he's playing Sub-Zero or Scorpion. Man, that would be...
No, Scorpion, and I suppose he's the lead actor, is an actor called Hiroyuki Sanada.
Okay, nice. Man, yeah, Scorpion should be... I love Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They really should be the leads of the next films.
Yeah.
Because Liu Kang is awesome, but yeah, could be nice to have these guys also.
Okay, the actor playing Scorpion was in Avengers Endgame as Akihiko. Who is that? Not sure. All right. Cool. Interesting. Very interesting.
All right. So that's basically a wrap on Mortal Kombat. For anyone who wants to tell us if they saw this movie growing up and has some cool memories, I'm going to end with a memory for you, Dinkar, which you'll appreciate.
Yeah.
But when they enter the Outworld and they're walking through this desolate kind of ruinscape, and when Liu Kang basically fights Reptile, there are these statues which are basically like lantern holders, kind of like these statues which are in a crucifix kind of position. And that's what Reptile kind of goes into and then fights Liu Kang. Basically, so one of those statues I've seen up close from the original movie because it used to be at Planet Hollywood in Dubai.
Right.
And and it used to be there. And I remember seeing it very, up close.
Nice.
And I was like, cool. Love Mortal Kombat even more.
Cool. I'll also close with a memory then. I had seen Mortal Kombat maybe at least once, but I remember going to this to the birthday party of a friend of mine,
right?
Where there were a bunch of us, like maybe 15 or so people. We all hung out. We had pizza, played a bunch of games, including I think a round of Mafia or some kind of game like that. No, Murderer, which was basically like Mafia.
Same.
And then we watched Mortal Kombat on cassette because the guy was like, "I just rented this. Let's watch Mortal Kombat."
Was it from Tetco?
No. This, I would have rented it from Tetco. This friend of mine, I don't know, probably rented it from whatever was near his place.
Nice.
But probably something called Prime Video, but not Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah, nice.
That's the entire thing. That last scene happens where they all get into fighting stance and the song starts, and I was like, yeah. And we were also pumped. We were like, now we'll watch Mortal Kombat 2. And we started watching Mortal Kombat 2 and we're like, cool, maybe we won't finish watching this one.
Oh my God. Yeah, maybe we could skip that one.
Yeah, okay, let's close with this. Would you recommend people should check out Mortal Kombat at this point if they haven't before?
I think so, only because it'll give them one for the nostalgia, I'd say. Definitely for the soundtrack, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
But I would say it's a good time to get back into Mortal Kombat because they just had a new game come out, which is Mortal Kombat 11, which came out last year, which we went for the launch for, and it was really, really good. In fact, there was a DLC on Mortal Kombat 11 where they got Cary Tagawa, the guy who plays Shang Tsung, to reprise his role to mocap Shang Tsung as himself, like the same, where your soul is mine, that same kind of look and everything is there. So that's kind of a nice treat for fans. So to watch that and kind of get acquainted with the storyline. And just to prep yourself for the couple of movies that are coming out. One is Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge, the animated film, which I just spoke of. And also the James Bond film, which will come out. So I think kind of makes for a nice little marathon.
I would suggest maybe don't even bother watching the whole movie, but pull up one of those, like the Movie Clips YouTube channel or whatever, and watch like 10 of those. So you'll watch essentially like half an hour. That's probably the best parts of the movie because everything else
pretty much
is
I will say this though, some of the dialogue in this movie is so bad that it's worth watching.
Like that but you forgot good looking line.
Exactly that, and like America has enfeebled his mind. One of my favorite lines.
Of course. Do you remember in that fight with Raiden where Liu Kang calls Raiden a beggar and the enfeebled his mind part happens? So Raiden's like, all right, well, why don't you prove it? Attack me. And Liu Kang tries to attack him and Raiden basically like trips him or something. And he like makes a super like crybaby face and goes like, okay, then why do you let my brother die, huh? And runs away.
And then Raiden is like, why did you?
Right. It's like, why did you? And it's like, what are we talking about here?
Amazing. I've taken a selection of choice screenshots from this movie, which I will share on the Geek Fruit Instagram profile. So don't forget to check that out. They're not all they're all without context, so it's even funnier. So let us know what you thought about Mortal Kombat.
With like what they think is happening.
Pretty much, yeah. We can ask you guys if you've seen the movie. Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and we will see you guys in the social medias.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, Dinkar.
Tejas, finish this episode. Finish it.
Oh, good. Mortality.
Hi guys, this is Ayushi.
And I am Ritasha.
And welcome to Agla Station Adulthood.
It's a fun podcast we've got going on and we'd love for you to tune in and enjoy with us.
Join us as we stop at various stations and discuss different topics that seem to be bothering us and hopefully
dating,
you as well.
Relationships, beauty, just being an adult, lots of different things.
We don't have a great grip on it, but we've done okay so far.
Catch Agla Station Adulthood every Thursday on the IVM app, the IVM website, or wherever else you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Peak Planet, a new podcast where we delve into the fallouts of the growth path that we, and indeed much of the world, has chosen. Sustainable growth is the buzzword. Until we nail that down, we need to ensure that we keep our population healthy and also have the resources for our increasingly urban lifestyles. I'm Karthik Ganesan, a researcher at the Council on Energy, Environment and Water, a Delhi-based policy research institute where for almost a decade we've been trying to explain and change the use, reuse and misuse of our resources. In the first season of Peak Planet, we take up air pollution, public enemy number one and an invisible one at that. Increasingly the most important risk factor for adverse health outcomes, air pollution has become the most unwanted byproduct for an aggressively growing economy. Over 4 episodes, we find out how prepared our systems are to deal with this crisis. You can catch the entire first season of Peak Planet out now on the IVM Podcasts app or website, or wherever you get your podcasts from.